do you come to get all your news? There's no better place but the Washington Informer. Oh, I am so grateful for you all tuning in to yet another episode of Win TV. And for those tuning in this Friday, you're watching our rerun in today's episode of Let's Talk. So hello. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. Thanks to you all for tuning in now. And I hope that you enjoy your holiday. And for those watching on Friday, I hope that you had all the amazing family time and food that you could have and use. And even if you didn't get to be with family and friends, we know some of us are on the road or working or might have conflicting schedules. But I hope that you feel loved and that you are feeling like you have something to be grateful and thankful for this season. And if not, we're going to give you something to be grateful and thankful for this season, because I am so excited to chat with Lauren Irving of Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey's The Greatest Show, which is back. Lauren, how are you today?
Hello. So great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for being with us. We are so excited to have you. And can I just say, you look fabulous. Hair on, I don't know if people say this anymore, but I still do. Hair on fleek, makeup on fleek.
I received that. I appreciate it. You look stunning as well. I mean, like, effortlessly beautiful.
Thank you. I emphasis on effortlessly. Lauren saw me run off camera really quickly before to throw this lipstick on, y'all. We just try to get through to the holidays.
Yes.
We're just trying to get through. But I am so thankful for you being with us, Lauren. I just want to say congratulations. Lauren, everyone, is a barrier breaking cast member of The Greatest Show on Earth. She is coming and bringing a new life into Ringling Brothers' long history of entertaining audiences and crowds. And she's telling stories through song, some original music, as well as some covers and favorites that we all can sing along to. And so I just want to say congratulations to you, Lauren, on being a part of this amazing legacy and history. Tell us all about it.
First of all, thank you so much for all of that. I think hearing it, it's still, everything is still sinking in as to what this means. I'm just thankful that this opportunity is here. And I'm thankful that I, in this time, have just been able to be that person. There's a lot of things that this show has done that has truly been, as they say, reimagined. I was talking before, but like, this show has over 150 years of history in itself. So you think about everything that has happened from that time before, 150 years, a lot. So now, we have a lot of changes that have happened, but for the good. There's 75 performers from all over the world. And a lot of them are from places that I think people would not normally be able to experience entertainment from. So I know that I am actually the only African-American in the cast, but we have Ethiopians as well. And meeting them, working with them has been so incredible. And again, it's like, how often do you get to go and see people from Ethiopia perform in this manner? It's not very often.
Right.
So we have, so it's like Ethiopia, we have Mongolia, we have Canada, France, Italy. A lot of countries around the world, South America, in Colombia and Argentina. We have such a diverse cast, and of course, others from the United States as well. There are no animals in the show. I know that that has been history with Ringling, but the beautiful thing is that we are focusing on the human ability. And so there's all this opportunity just again to see like what these people are capable of doing with their bodies and with their talents, with their skills. And we do have a robot dog. So there's that with the technology. We have cameras following us around. So there's 2 halo screens that are on the stage position so that you can literally watch everything up close. So even if you're watching the high wire, you can see the halo screen and say, wow, there's their foot wrapped around that thin wire. I mean, there's just so much going on. But again, it's an honor to be a part of. It's a blessing. And I know I'm not going to get used to it. So it's just been great.
Well, again, congratulations. And it sounds like quite a production, even without the historic inclusion of the live animals, focusing on, as you said, human ability is so cool. And then this technology with the it's not a, what do you call it, a digital dog,
So it's a robot dog. Her name is Bailey. Yes, her name is Bailey, and I'm obsessed. Every show, I get so excited. It's wild.
Bailey the robot dog. That sounds so cool. And obviously this diverse cast with so many amazing talents seems like we really have to tap in. So it'll be here November 24th, or I should say in the area in Baltimore, November 24th, and there's 6 shows, correct?
Correct. So November 24th, we have 2 shows, and they're at 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock p.m. Saturday, 12 o'clock p.m. and 4 o'clock p.m. and Sunday again at 12 o'clock and 4 o'clock p.m. So plenty of opportunity to come see us. So you can also come see us again if you're like, I need to capture and experience what I did one time. Do it again, do it, because we would love to have you.
I love that. And it sounds like the perfect way to kick off the holiday season with family and friends. So tap in. We'll have the information in the comments below for you all to get tickets and check out the times again and tap into all of the great things that the Greatest Show on Earth has to offer. Now, Lauren, you've told us about Bailey the robot dog, all of the wonderful cast, but we haven't heard all that Lauren Irving is bringing to the table. Tell us a little bit about, again, this role that seems to be adding and breathing new life into this long legacy of entertainment.
Yes, I mean, this is, first of all, this is like the perfect sweet point for, I said sweet point, but I think it's like, I think sweet spot is what I mean of just what my passions are. My passions are music and people. So this is exactly what that is. So there are 3 show guides in the show. There's not a ringmaster. There's 3 show guides. So there's me, who I sing and I bring the harmony, bringing everyone together, getting everyone involved using music. There is a comedian, his name's Nick Knack in the show. His name is Yondom in real life. So he is like the soul. He brings the life and like the funny and all of that, you know, you remember about Ringling. There's also the character Styx, who's played by Alex Stickles, and he does the rhythm. So he's a drummer. He has like this amazing number that he contributes to. So for me, I feel like, again, it's this sweet spot of me being able to use singing, music, and connecting with people, just to bring everyone together. And I know that though there's not a ringmaster in this reimagined version, I do recognize that there is this significance to me being in this role, because the last ringmaster, Jonathan Lee Iverson, he was the first African-American ringmaster, and I believe the youngest as well. So he covered a lot of boxes. But I know that like having me be a part of this sort of legacy of being in a lead role is just nothing less than an honor. It's been incredible. And I do recognize how important it is as well, because, at the start of the show, there's a funny bit with Nick Nack, who's again like the soul, the comedy of the show. And then there's the Equivoque trio. They're not clowns, but they're like reimagined, they're comedy. So they have this bit. Wesley Williams comes down. He's like, hey, it's my first day here. And then they're like, you're here. Let's start. There's this countdown. And then Alex and I come up from 2 platforms. We rise up. And I believe for me, it means so much when I rise up and I see little girls and boys who look like me surprised to see somebody like, wait a minute, like it's like, that look and how important that is. And I never get tired of that. I understand what that means. And even for the parents who, when they came when they were little, just to see somebody like them means a lot. So I feel like with all of the honor that I'm carrying, it's not even a burden. It's just like a blessing. So that's just what I feel every night. And just being able to, sing in the middle of everything and be in the middle of a 360-degree arena, seats on all sides. I am just so blessed, and it's just been incredible for sure.
I am getting goosebumps listening to not only the description of how the greatest show on earth begins and goes down, but your experience in bringing this joy to audiences. I want to ask you before we wrap, because you talked about this reimagined production, and it really seems like Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey are being very intentional about how they are showing up to audiences. And I wonder, in today's time, why it's so important to sort of have a new way of showing up, and a different way of showing up in order to connect with audiences, and how you feel being a part of that.
Yeah, I think showing up and I guess representing is another way as well of just what this means. It's because it's important to, when you have an opportunity to represent, it's always a blessing to do. So I think that if there is the opportunity, again, for you to be seen, to shine your light, and for you to use what skills and talents that you've been blessed with, that's something that, you should take seriously and really consider the impact that you have. Because I know all of us have had, we remember that moment when, you were little, or even as an adult, where you saw someone do something or you experienced something with somebody, and that seed was planted, that spark happened where you were like, I know what I want to do. I know what passion I have. And when I was little, I know that I got that from a lot of people in my family. I know my sister was the one who helped that spark ignite in me with music and singing. So she showed up and she performed and she did things and she was an example. And I know that, for, again, other people coming to see the show, I hope that that's what I am for them, young or old. It's a show for children of all ages, truly. And I just think that, like, what an opportunity I have, but also, again, just it's about the people. So that's just what I want. I want everybody to just come, and it's, not even just about me, but just in general of, again, the human ability and what we're able to do, reconnecting and just looking at what's really important in life is just working together and just feeling inspired and just knowing that, you can achieve whatever you want to do. And as long as you just believe in yourself, you have those people supporting you, and you know that, what you have to offer is going to bless others and continue that on, go for it. So that's what it's about.
Well, I am fired up and inspired. I thank you so much, Lauren, for being with us here on Win TV and for Let's Talk. And I thank you again for representing and showing up and entertaining audiences. And congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. November 24th and that whole weekend, go to Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey for the greatest show on earth. It's a reimagined production. You'll get to see Lauren Irving and I guess hundreds of amazing artists.
75 performers doing incredible.
75,
yes.
Although 75 performers, but I always have, as a theater girl myself, when I'm thinking about the whole production, there are so many people in the background also.
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Our crew, without them, hello, we would not have it. So thank you for that. The crew is incredible, and we love them.
Yes, the crew, the marketing folks that made this happen and made us know that and let us know that this is coming to the area so that we could get it out to you all. There's a whole lot of folks putting in so much work into this. And the 75 performers, we cannot wait to check out this weekend. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you to Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey for and all of those folks that made this happen. Take care, everyone, and happy holidays.
Thank you.
Our community has a lot of problems, and we hear about it on the news every day, except if you're looking for an option, an alternative, something that kind of makes you feel good about who you are, where you live, what's going on in your community. This is the place to come, and we try to bring that news to you consistently. And actually, as a matter of fact, Chevy, those of you all know, is our dynamic, fearless producer here, sitting across from me. So we keep doing what we do in honor of our publisher, the late Dr. Calvin W. Rolark, who started the Washington Informer in 1964. And we're so glad to also now share with you this program, Win TV, Let's Talk. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But we're going to move now to Darrell Todd, owner of Footprint Photos. He is our featured business this month for Black Business Month. Darrell, thank you so very much for being with us today.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Can hear you very well, very well. First, briefly, tell us about your business and how you started it.
Business was started actually on Monday, makes 35 years actually. It started in 88, started when I was in undergrad at UDC. I had begun shooting in March of 88, and then in August, when the semester started again, is when my partner Chauncey and I turned it into a business.
Wonderful. How did you get into photography? I mean, what initiated this interest and passion that you had?
I guess it's twofold. One, I've always pretty much been a visual artist. I can draw, I paint a little bit, but I was never really into photography per se. But I tell everyone online that I was kind of programmed to be a photographer. My grandmother was an avid hobbyist photographer. She didn't just take pose pictures of family members and events. She shot a lot of candid images and stuff as well. I think she sort of gave the bug to my mother. My mother sort of took it and ran with it. She was definitely a hobbyist photographer as well. And I think it's important to note that I think both of them very easily could have been skilled professional photographers. However, those opportunities really weren't available as much to women, especially African-American women at the time that they were most active. And so I just picked up the baton because I was kind of programmed. In school, I needed an art elective that semester. I didn't want to take art appreciation or something like that. And honestly, I figured photography could be an easy A, and I could probably meet a lot of girls doing it. And so I wanted to meet girls, and and there were two guys on campus, a guy named Darren and a guy named Aldine Pearson, who were already taking pictures on campus, and they were charging, and they knew all the girls, and so I figured, you know,
There's room for one more.
there's always room for one more.
Wonderful. So, how would you describe your photography? What do you shoot?
Pretty much anything that moves, honestly. I never
Okay.
really specialized. I was kind of, in my opinion, forced into weddings because in this area, in the DC area, that's where you can make the most money in photography, because we don't have a big movie industry here. There's not a huge fashion industry here, but you can make a very decent and comfortable living shooting weddings. And I think that became a sort of a de facto niche. But I do families. I shoot a lot of. I don't do as many now, but I do some celebrity work as well. So I pretty much shoot everything.
Wonderful. I mean, you know, once upon a time, years ago, we had a photographer that worked with us who left the business of photojournalism, couldn't get that word out, and went off and started shooting architecture. I mean, buildings for, I haven't heard from him since. So evidently he did really well. So, because he didn't come back. But, you know, you look at, there's so many areas one can go into when we talk about photography. And that's why I was curious about, you know, what you selected. But clearly people are your subjects.
Yeah, people. I'm always just drawn to people. My mother likes nature. My mother, she can go to, I guess, Luray Caverns or something and shoot a mountain, and she'd be totally fine and at peace with that, or a river or something, or at Great Falls. Honestly, I like that too. But I really enjoy it when there's a person standing in front of that, backdrop, in front of that landscape.
Mm-hmm.
Having a person there, I guess, sort of anchors me to that space. And so every time I honestly see a great space, and I've had the opportunity to travel all over the world, seeing a lot of great places, what really makes it amazing to me is when I can just stick somebody Black in that space.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately, we're not showing any of your photographs right now, which would have been really cool. That's your fault.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Oh, all right.
My work can be seen all over line and in thousands of homes in the DC area.
Okay. I mean, do you have a website?
Yeah, footprintphotos.com. That's
Okay.
FOOTPRINTFOTOS.com.
Okay, that's great. Because while people are listening in, they may want to go see and get a sense of what you do. But you know, you're doing this as a business. It's a full-time business for you. And I mean, I'm thinking, well, I said that it's not.
It is. I work full-time for the government, but I also shoot full-time. I shoot 7 days a week. When I'm not shooting, I'm doing admin stuff. Let's just say I'm operating at a full-time level.
Okay. I can imagine. But how has that been? I mean, you know, as having photography as a business, what is it? What have been some of the challenges you faced in trying to keep this going over 35 years, you said?
Yeah, this is the 35th year.
Yeah.
Retaining good people.
Mm-hmm.
I teach, and so my partner Tony says all the time, I teach them too much. I teach them too well. And so retaining great people is a challenge, but I do enjoy empowering people to, you know, sort of advance their lives in whatever way they see fit, and often money is a catalyst for change.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably been the biggest challenge. Other than that, the business has been tremendously good to me. It's changed my life. My family and I, we didn't grow up with a whole lot when my mother came up here from Petersburg, Virginia. And so we had quite a bit of challenges. People ask me where I'm from in DC. I'm from all the quadrants. We've had an opportunity to live in a variety of places. You know, sometimes planned, sometimes unplanned. And so, like I said, it's pretty much changed my complete lifestyle and for many of those around me. And so I'm very grateful. I mean, there have been some challenges. Like I can't deny that, but it's nothing that my ancestors weren't faced with 10, 100, 1 million fold. And so who am I to complain about the life that I live?
I'm going to call you the preaching photographer now because you are preaching.
It's true, right? Like, my dad, he told me, he's deceased now, but he used to tell me a long time ago, DE, I'm a twin. So my brother's name is Daryl. And I'm Daryl, by the way. It's pronounced Daryl and
Okay.
Daryl. And they call us DE and DA. But anyway, he used to tell me, DE, when you start working, you want to come home with a headache and not a backache. And he was a very hard work. Excuse me, getting choked up. He was a very hard-working person, and so he didn't want me to have to work as hard as he did.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to lift carpets and stuff and tools every day, and he was dog tired when he got in. I lift a camera.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
In comparison to the work that he did.
Right. That's amazing. And evidently you're doing a great job because some of your students are actually posting messages on the show. Chevy's waving in the background. I think she's one of your students as well. It looks like you accomplished one thing. I mean, you found a lady, so that's that's good. But when how do you teach photography? How do you do that?
I teach. I have several classes now. It's sort of morphed into, a school, so to speak. But I teach advanced photographers. So I teach lighting. I teach portrait photography, product, food, different types of lighting techniques to my advanced photographers. For the intro photography class that I teach, I start with film. I start with the different types of film. We talk about where the sun is in the sky. Last night we were talking about how to shoot silhouettes, how I introduced them to flash, how to manipulate the flash output settings, and then we touch upon studio lighting, and then in the very last month of class, it's a 6-month course.
Mm-hmm.
In the last month of class, we discuss business, how to market, how to price, how to attract clientele, how to position yourself within the marketplace.
So you're sort of an incubator as well, because not only do you have your business, but you actually help to incubate new photography businesses. And so these freelancers that are out here know how to run and operate their businesses, which is difficult. I mean, when a consumer is looking for a photographer, this is another question. I mean, what would you advise them? Someone's getting ready to have a wedding, right? And ideally, one, call Daryl. That's what we do. We call photo footprints, and then that answers their problem. But anyway, print photos. But what would you tell someone out there who is actually looking to hire a photographer to do work for them? What should they look for? What kind of questions should they ask?
Questions. One, I would look at their work first. I was about to say I would look at their experience. However, I was a teenage photographer, and a lot of people, mainly Black women, gave me a shot. And so I don't want to necessarily start with experience. I didn't have experience, and if someone had made that the litmus test for whether or not that I would be hired, then I probably wouldn't be here. But I would look at their work. I would see if they have any recent referrals. And then I would also consider, above all, how important those images are to me when selecting a photographer. Too often, photography and videography is considered last. People pay for their venue, and unfortunately, but fortunately, brothers and sisters are very stylish, and so they pick their outfits and they pick their shoes, and we like to eat and cook, so we may pick a caterer. And too often photography and videography are considered last. And that's unfortunate because it is only photography, and it is now, of course, only videography that will introduce you to generations that will never meet you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that many of us have albums at home filled with old images, or we may have now, they may be saved on a cloud or on hard drives or whatever, of family members that we don't even know. Right?
You're right.
Or we never got a chance to meet. We were told about this person, and here's this one photo. And so when you have a unique opportunity, when you're living to tell your own story, I think it's important that you capture, that you have someone capture it that can capture you at your best, so that when your great granddaughter meets you, there's this stellar image or this stellar video that exists. And because we're not as, many of us are not as famous as you, and, you know, yeah, you are, you know, and we don't have that amazing name, that Rolock name and stuff that you have. Many of us everyday people, we won't, our families won't have this treasure of archives, this legacy that we can just reach on and study upon. All we have are the baby showers and the few family reunions and the few weddings that will tell our story. And so it's important that you select someone that can tell the story the way you want it to be told through photography and videography.
And as a business owner, one of the things that one of my colleagues here talks about is customer service. And I'm sure that because you deal with people one-on-one, right? That's important to you. But how would you describe that? What makes people want to refer your business? What is it that you provide that might distinguish you from other photographers out there?
Oh, good question. Well, one thing my dad, going back to him, one thing that he told me when I first started, you know, he said, you know, because I was just starting, he said, you know, if you're not that good, you're gonna have to be faster than everybody. You got to deliver faster. And that's just something that I've always stuck with. Even as I got better, my production time is faster than anyone that I know. Be it celebrity photography, weddings, whatever. When I shoot it, you get in it immediately. And that's one reason. But honestly, other than that, I don't really know if there's anything in my work that separates me from other people. However, what I do think keeps people coming back is they feel some connection to me. There's only one me. I think, I mean, even though I'm a twin, I'm a fraternal twin. So even the guy that was born with me is completely different from me. I'm 5'10" and a half, and he's 6'4", but we're twins. And our names are similar, but even there's an A and E difference. But I think when you do almost any type of business or you sell any kind of product, if you sell more of yourself and people can feel some connection to you, then they'll come back to you. If you're just buying pictures, you can buy those anywhere. You can have anybody shoot you. You know, doesn't matter. Any of my students, any of my competitors, any of my mentors, anybody can take your picture, but there's only one me. And so people, for whatever reason, they enjoy coming back to me, and I really enjoy working with them.
We are clearly running out of time, but I just want to ask when people, you know, there are a lot of famous photographers. There are a lot of photographers, but not a whole lot of whose names, like you said, continue. I mean, we think about now Spurlock, you know, in DC, who is really famous, and a bunch of others actually. But how would you like people to remember you through your photography? What is it that you want when people look at pictures to say, who was that photographer? What is it that they're going to see?
It's interesting because I really don't think that people are going to remember me for my photography. I think people will probably remember me more for, as you said, being an incubator. Yep, being an incubator, a photographer who helped, at this point now, I have over 450 former students. Wow. Help others create businesses for themselves. I'd love to be remembered for my work, whether it be for President Obama or Janelle Monáe or Prince or whatever. But for many of the people that I photographed, there were a bunch of other photographers too. So I don't know if I'll be remembered for that. I think at one point I did. I wanted to be this famous photographer, and I wanted people to, oh man, that's D. Todd's work, or that's Daryl Todd's work, or he shot so and so. But I do think that, you know, when it's all said and done, when they talk about that dash between 1969 and whatever, right? That dash, it'll be that I spent the majority of my adult life helping others create businesses and opportunities for themselves.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So before we go, if there's somebody out there that says, "Oh, I want to learn from him," how do they contact you? Do you have like a time of year when you bring on students? Talk about that part of the business.
Oh, great question. So currently we teach twice a year. It's pretty much based on how I learned. So as I said, school started in August. So I teach 2 6-month courses. We don't start in August, but we do start in October. The classes are held here in my studio currently in the bakery. It's in Northeast DC. We normally register students 1 month, and it's all adult, by the way, for those that are curious. It's an adult course, the courses that we teach. We also teach videography. We also teach mobile videography. Some of those are online. Starting in the spring, in April, we're probably going to move to an online format. We've been here at the studio 12 years. My goal was 10. We all know how real estate goes in DC.
Yeah.
And so therefore, the rent is currently about $6,000 a year. That's a lot. We felt the pressures of the pandemic. I've used my personal money to keep the studio open during the entire pandemic, as it has not been self-supporting. But I plan on, maybe adding on to my house. I live right across the street, and moving the studio back there. It was there for 17 years before we came here. And so therefore, I'm thinking I'm going to just create a space there and again, bring it back into the home, which is where Addison Scurlock and many others taught before they opened up the Washington School for Photography. So I'm going to go back to the roots. So the class will be online in the interim, but it will still probably be 6 months. I'll probably do more one-on-one, things like that.
And is there a limit on the number of students you take per session?
No, currently, because we have over 3,500 square feet of space here, I can teach as many as 40 at a time. Right now, the classes are down to the average class size is about 20 that I start with, but it's a grueling class, so I never finish with more than half. Never. It is not an easy course. When people leave here, I want them to be able to show and prove because they said they took my class.
Wow. Would you kick me out if I walked in and said, "This is my camera"?
No, I will refer you to Maisha Dennis, my partner in everything, and she teaches mobile videography.
Okay.
So you could definitely speak with her regarding that. But no, and when we move across the street, and there'll be some time, of course, before they add the studio onto the house and I get the financing and stuff like that, then the classes probably will shrink to no more than 15 per class. So it'll be a little bit more exclusive in terms of the in-person attendance, but online we'll be able to take, sky's the limit.
Wow. Well, DT, Darrell Todd, DE, I'm sorry, I'll get D Todd. It's D
People
Todd.
call me DT. Miss Brenda Fuller, one of my SEC moms, calls me DT. A lot of people who know her and her family call me DT. I was born with the nickname DE. It is the first 2 letters in my name to distinguish my name from my brother, who is Daryl.
Right.
He is DA. Daryl, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as you call. I don't care what you call me, as long as you call.
That makes sense because I'm a DE too, But anyway.
There you go.
Thank you so very much for being with us today and allowing us to highlight your photography business for Black Business Month. I've learned a lot. I appreciate the fact that probably I'm using some of the photographers that you've taught.
Yes, you are. And I appreciate everything you've done for Miss Lassiter. Just having a former student who's like super high ranking at the Informer.
Yeah.
Paper that my mother has picked up for years and that I pick up too whenever I go to the cleaners on 12th Street.
Well, hey, that's fine. No matter where you get, like you said, just pick it up.
I'm appreciative of it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so very much. We've enjoyed this conversation. As we move into Black History Month too, we might want to have another conversation when you talk about that photographers group. And you mentioned again Spurlock and some others, Addison Spurlock and some others that really had a name here in DC that you know about. So we may be calling on you again in the
Let
future.
me know. I stand on their shoulders. I know I'm a student of the art, so I know a bunch of the names. I'll be happy to share what little bit I know, and then also highlight some others.
Wonderful. All righty. Well, you have a good one.
You have a great one too. Thank you for your time.
It's my pleasure to bring on Dr. Ghislaine Toussaint Green, who has given me permission to call her Dr. Gigi. She is the project director and educator for the mental health and family wellness support at the DC Department of Behavioral Health. Welcome to WIN TV, Dr. Gigi. Right. Yes. Unmute yourself.
Unmute. We're still working at the mute and unmute.
Yes.
2 years later.
That's okay. That's okay. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, good, good. So, one, we've had, first of all, the segment is sponsored by the Department of Behavioral Health. We're so happy that you and your colleagues have been joining us over the last few weeks to talk about many of the programs that the department offers for people who are in need of mental health services in the District of Columbia. So, it's really important that we share this information with our community. And so glad that you all have been here to provide this information. So we want to know, we're talking about family wellness support in schools. Tell me what that means and what does that look like?
Okay, so we're the Educator Mental Health Program and the Family Wellness and Support Program. Both programs aim to support the well-being of children by providing support to the people or the individuals who care for them. The Family Wellness Program focuses on supporting parents and caregivers, and the DBH Educator Mental Health Program provides wellness services for staff. And the goal of both programs is to promote a whole school culture of wellness, and today we'll focus on the Educator Mental Health Program.
That's wonderful. Still want to break it down a little bit more because, first of all, I think we all know the impact that COVID had not only on our community at large, but on families and children. And so all of a sudden, where they were isolated for so long, and now they're back into schools. And I think COVID has impacted the behavior of children in a lot of negative ways. And so what is DBH and what is your office doing as it relates to the impact on students?
Okay. So, like we said earlier, we're aiming to promote a whole school culture of wellness, which means that we want to ensure that everyone in the building is well, that there is a positive climate in the schools. And so we offer 3 levels of services in order to promote that culture of wellness. The first level of service that we provide is programmatic consultation. And so in that, we work with school administrators to ensure that there are policies in place to promote educator wellness. So this may look like ensuring that the teachers are able to take a break because, as we've said, COVID has brought with it a lot of demands and stresses for educators. And so we want to make sure that they're okay. So it could look like making a wellness room so that they can have a place to go. We also know that in order for administrators to take care of their staff, they need to feel well. And so we work with them to take care of their own self, to prioritize their wellness. In June, we had over 30 administrators meet for wellness retreats. And in that retreat, we focus on strategies to take care of their self and strategies to promote the culture of wellness at their school. The second level of service that we provide is educator wellness activities. And I want to stop for a moment to note that when we say educator at DBH, we are not just talking about the traditional teachers. We're talking about everyone in the school. So whether it is the custodian, the bus driver, anyone who touches a child in the school building. So we offer experiential wellness activities and workshops for education staff. So you could find us during lunchtime, probably doing a tea and chat with educators. You could find us doing PDs such as yoga, self-love, and professional development. And we also host our Healthy Teachers DC every Wednesday at 1 p.m. and at 4 p.m. And that is a virtual platform where teachers can come and discuss stresses that they may be facing. They get to support each other and share wellness resources. And finally, we offer individual support to educators. Again, we know that they're struggling. They may want to come to a wellness support group. They may want to come to a PD or an activity, but sometimes you really just need to talk to somebody one-on-one. And so we provide that. We go into the schools to meet with them, or they can call us at our 1-887 We Help. And they could talk to anyone. We do wellness referrals and linkages to wellness resources.
Well, I certainly feel remiss in forgetting all about the teachers, even though I mentioned them earlier, because I'm just assuming, that as we know, the students are coming back with uh, stresses. And so you have teachers as well. And we know how the struggle has been trying to keep teachers in schools, and who takes care of the caregivers. So I think that's an excellent service that you all are offering. I'm curious though, are teachers actually, you had those 30 that you serviced last year that came to, I guess it was a retreat, but are the teachers actually taking advantage of the program?
Yes, teachers are taking advantage of the program. We have several schools and child development centers who reach out to us on a frequent basis to ask us to come in and provide support for their staff. So I should say more of the administrators are calling us than the individual teachers are calling. But just this week, we've done 3 sessions for teachers. So we're meeting teachers and they're taking advantage. And we have teachers who come to workshop and go to the administrators and say, hey, DBH is offering this program. Can we bring this to our school or our child development centers?
And when you go into the school, is there a team that goes into the school, or is it an individual from DBH? How do you assess actually what the needs are, and how are you going to service those needs?
So we do that several ways. We have a form that they could fill out, or a director would call us. Most of the time, I go in. We have other people that we contract with who do other wellness activities. We also have our sister program, the school behavioral health team, who also go in and support, as well as in our early childhood centers, our Healthy Futures programs do help as well to support educator wellness and work with the children.
Wonderful. And how are you all staffed? I mean, we've got lots of schools in DC, no matter how small the city is. We've got a lot of schools, like you said, the public schools, charter schools, independent schools, all kinds of different categories of schools. How do you staff your team to service the needs of those schools?
So right now, our program is fairly new, only a few months old. So
Okay.
we're building our team right now. So a lot of the work I'm doing and the contractors are doing, but we're still working on bringing in new staff.
Right. And so what was it that the Department of Health saw that said, this is a creative way to address whatever the issue is that you saw or observed? What is it that from inside happened that made you all say, this is the way we can address what's happening in our schools?
So shortly before the pandemic, at the time I worked at DBH with our DCC program, which is an early childhood educator mental health program. And we provided support to teachers to support the children. And we noticed that one of the most frequently requested workshops was self-care. And so at DBH, we talked about it and said, we're noticing that a lot of the schools, a lot of the centers are asking to promote, to do workshops that promote self-care. And we wish we had something that we could offer that was just wellness. But then shortly after the pandemic came and teachers were reported being overwhelmed, and they had to pivot very quickly, and they were facing significant increase in demands around the country, and they're still being burnt out and overwhelmed. And we saw all over the country that teachers were leaving the profession. And so DC realized, hey, we have to do something to support our educators. And so the government, on a whole, talked about it, and we received funds to do something for the educators, and the educator mental health program.
Wonderful. Well, before we go, since we may have teachers or administrators in our audience, as a matter of fact, we're about to have the principal from Ballou Senior High School on the next segment. Can you give maybe a couple of tips that you would do in another, in a school setting, of what teachers can do to self-help tips that you could give now?
Okay.
One or two.
So, one of the things we talked about last week in our retreat is making sure that you have a well balanced breakfast, that you're not eating a lot of sugar in the morning, because if you eat a lot of sugar in the morning, halfway through the day, you're going to crash. We encourage teachers to lean on their support system to see who is in your building that you can lean on, that you can talk to. Also, to form that relationship with your administrator, to let them know when you're not having a good day, because most of our administrators in DC want to help our teachers. And so when you need a break, when you need time away from the classroom, to contact that person, that administrator at your building, who can support you, who can give you support in that classroom, or send somebody to give you a break. And to check in, you can call us at DBH at any time, 1-888-7 we help. And you can speak to someone. You don't have to have a diagnosed disorder, or you don't have to say that you're anxious. You can just call. You just want to talk to somebody, you can call us. And of course, you can reach us at DBH. You can, with my email address, it's my name, Gislyn.Toussaint-Green at dc.gov. If you would like to reach us, you can also reach us at 202-727-8464, and we can support you there.
Wonderful.
Also,
Oh, go
one
ahead.
more,
Yes.
two more areas. If you're in a K to 12 school, you can check with your administrator to see if our school behavioral health program is on in your school. And if you're in early childhood, you can reach out to our Healthy Futures program, and we'll all three programs will try to collaborate to support the wellness of educators.
Well, thank you. That should get us off to a good start this year. And while everybody, I think, is optimistic about the first days of school, and from the kids to the administrators to teachers and parents, but as we get into the school year, those stresses do come in. And so I'm so happy that you were here to join us, Dr. Gigi, and to give us some tips and to let teachers know what's available to them. So thank you very much for being with us, and thank the Department of Behavioral Health for sponsoring this segment. And we hope to talk to some more of your colleagues soon.
Thank you.
All righty. Have a good one. And again, like I said, if you have ideas for programs or folks that you think we should interview, some things that are going on in the city, in your community, and not only in your city, because this program, it's digital. So you're in Prince George's County, Montgomery County, Charles County, Alexandria, Arlington, you name it. If you're in the DMV, reach out to us at news, at washingtoninformer.com. Again, it's news@washingtoninformer.com. You see the email down below, and just sign up and or send a note to us and let us know some ideas, suggestions that you have for future folks that we can bring on WIN TV. So that's it for today. I want to thank you all for being with us, for hanging over. I hope you enjoyed the program. Certainly would love to hear your feedback. Don't forget, follow us on all the social media channels. Sign up for WashingtonInformer.com, and also follow us on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and we will see you next Fridays. A great weekend, and so long.